G'day captains and lieutenants from the Banksia Group. Michael Wayne here, Banksia Group Comms Officer, and I've been requested by Commander Gary Bryant to get some information off our radios. So what I'd like you to do in this short video is to follow the procedure to obtain the firmware, the alias and the radio's ID number, and I'll explain to you how to do that, and if you can then email those numbers to me, that would be fantastic. So the radios that are in question are all of the brigades radios in vehicles. So for example, your slip-ons, your ultralights, your tankers, your pumpers, whatever vehicle has a radio in it, we need this information. But if it's a Banksia owned radio, we don't need that because we already have the Banksia Group radios information. And all portables, we don't need any of the portables as well. So disregard portables, disregard Banksia owned radios. All right, we'll use the Longford slip-on for demonstration of retrieving the information off a remote handheld head radio. So on a remote handheld head radio, we'll get, we hit the menu button, we go down to radio settings, hit select, go down twice to radio info, and we have radio firmware. If you can select that, and you'll see that there's a series of numbers. I'm only interested in the numbers starting from where the double O ends. So 7, it times out, you've got to hit it again. 7.93.0.7.0119. So the last 9 digits is what we're after on that firmware. Then we'll go down to radio ID, select that. So if you can record that number for me, please. And then if you can go down to alias, and if you can record the alias number for me, and then email those numbers to me, that will be fantastic. And on the Longford tanker, we have just a remote head radio. So I'll show you the procedure to get the information off the remote head radio. All right guys, in the Longford tanker here, if I can get you to go to the menu on the remote head radio, and then if you go down to radio settings and hit select, and then go down to radio info and hit select. A bit of a glare there, isn't there? Is that better? Then we've got radio firmware. If you can select the radio firmware, and I'll just need the numbers from here, 7.93.07.0119. I just need those numbers. And then if you can scroll down to radio ID, if you can get those numbers for me, 3236093. On yours will be different. Go back, and if you can get the radio's alias, our alias is LFRDT1M1 on this particular radio. If you can record all 3 of those, that information, and the vehicle's registration plate. Turn that off. If you can copy those numbers and the vehicle's registration plate and email it back to me for every vehicle that you have that has those types of radios in them. As I said, I don't need the portables and I don't need Banksia owned radios, but if you can get the information off the other vehicles, that would be great, because that will help us out in regards to what radios need their firmware updated, because this is the issue. We need to update firmware, and some radios have already been updated and some radios haven't, so we need to try and get a clear understanding of which radios need updating. Thank you very much, everybody.